So namaste and welcome to our book launch party for Unbreakable Spirit. We have three beautiful authors, and I'm going to start with Rachel. I'm going to bring each of the authors up one at a time when it's your turn, and we're going to take a photo of you with your book. So if you want to hold your book up, let me get a nice photo of you with the book.
Yay! Let's see if I can
Yay!
get this right here. Let's see over here.
Either side, just, yep, beautiful. All right. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
you're welcome. It's been such an honor to include you. Okay, so let me introduce Rachel. Let's make sure all the lines are muted, everybody. Please keep yourself muted if you're not Rachel or me. Okay, so Rachel's story is, get the title, Protection of the Goddess. How my soul gifts pulled me out of a chasm of grief and shame. And I think what a blessing to have soul gifts that will do that. And I'm so happy you did, Rachel, and it's just a blessing. Okay, so here's Rachel's bio. Rachel Chase writes to honor the unstoppable human spirit and to heal the wounds of the heart. Creative expression is her lifeline, a way to alchemize grief, speak the unspeakable, and find her way back to the truth of who she is. Through her healing and coaching practice, she helps others heal and live with purpose. Her teachings, circles, and transformational programs invite women to return home to themselves, to live, love, and lead from the truth of who they are. At the core of her offerings is the belief that compassion is the medicine that softens the armor around the wounded heart, allowing the true self to breathe, bloom, and be boldly expressed in the world. Yeah, may it be. Yeah. So
May it
yeah,
be.
may it be so. Yeah. So your story begins with your childhood and what you call spiritual abuse. Can you tell us what is spiritual abuse and how you personally experienced it?
Yeah, I have been thinking a lot about how to answer that question, you know. And first, what I want to say is thank you, Laura, for bringing us all together. It's just been, I'm very emotional today. So I'm really grateful for you and this incredible group of women. And just, I know that it's been a lot to wrangle and bring all of us together. And you have done so, and the whole team has done so in such a beautiful, graceful, loving way. So thank you. First of all, I just want to, yeah, thanks, Laura.
Our pleasure. We love it. And I love it. Yeah.
Hmm. And fun. It's been fun. It's been so fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a heavy question, right? What is spiritual abuse? So in the context of my work, looking at the how healing has transpired for me to come back to, I've had to discover that the source of life and love and the divine is here inside, and it's in all of us, and it's in our life, and it's in our connection. And to me, the abuse that happens, that we can categorize under this label of spiritual abuses, if you will, is if at any time we are disconnected from that and told that our power is outside of ourselves. And in so many ways, that upbringing, the messaging that we were receiving in the group that we were in, was about, in some ways, yeah, you're a powerful being, but it was all about, you had to go to that leader for the answers and the translations and what the meaning in the Bible was and what the meaning of your life should be. So you're looking outside of yourself for the answers. And to me, that's abuse, because that's a disconnection from our truth, from our source, from what is accessible within.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that way, I
Tell
mean
us the
that.
name
Yeah.
of the cult, because some people may have actually heard of it or not heard of it. It's actually pretty well known.
Sure. It's called The Way International.
Mhm.
That's the general name, The Way International. Yeah, it's based in Ohio. Yeah.
And when it's interesting because I had heard of the Way. I know they have their own translation of the Bible. You get the Way Bible, but after you came into this program and were writing your chapter, I looked it up. And they're unfortunately, sadly, very famous for the sexual abuse that was going on of the devotees. There was a lot of very negative
Yeah.
young girls um,
Yes.
being molested by the leader. And how
Yes.
did that show up in your family holding those lies?
Yeah, fortunately for me, that did not happen to myself or my family members. Thank goodness for that. Thank goddess. And at the time when I was in the group, I didn't know any of that was going on. In fact, we didn't know, what
I
was really
I
happening
would
behind the
say
scenes
even if
until
you
later.
know the lie energetically is affecting every
Oh,
single person spiritually, that's the spiritual abuse, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Well, it's insidious throughout the energy of the group. I mean, essentially, the man is the head of the household and you are to be subservient to that. There's that piece of it too. There's this sort of hierarchy going on and in the messaging of that, of course, as well. Sure. So it's everywhere. There's this tension going on, and so certainly whether you're conscious of it or not, it's affecting you. And as a child, yeah, absolutely. It was around.
What happened in your family that they were able to hold it? And what was the moment when your family decided to make a change? And how did that impact you?
Well, my mother is here today. Her name is Charlene Edge. So just a little plug for that. Thank you,
Hi,
Mom.
Charlene.
Thank you. It was my mother. It was my mother. She was working in the research departments at the headquarters. This is all in her memoir. And she started putting some pieces together. Things weren't adding up. And just bells just started clicking. And there were some things that she saw and heard years earlier when she was younger that she started to reflect back and go, wait a minute, that and this and this. And
Okay.
she started putting all the puzzle pieces together. And once she woke up and saw it, that was it. She started planning our way out in a very undercover way.
Your
And
escape.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And you got out.
exactly. Mm-hmm.
And what
Yes.
happened
I
to
was
you when
12 years old.
12 years old? That's kind of such a formative age for our own spirituality, our own sense of trust. What can we trust? Who can we trust? So what happened to you after you got out?
Yeah, that is a formative age. 12, 13. It's such a pivotal time for so many of us. Well, it's in my story in our book too, but that, so just a little nutshell for people. You'll get a little more of a taste of it in the story, but I was pretty angry when we got out because as a young child living in a kind of a not fully communal, but in a way, we would live with other families. We grew up as children playing a lot with other families and children, having fun, because for a kid, yeah, you're not necessarily privy to the serious stuff just yet. And that was all I knew.
Right.
That was my whole life.
Hmm.
That's all I knew. And so it was like, oh, now that's all not true. Now we're doing this. And I'm like, what? So I was
Confusing.
pretty angry. Yeah,
Okay.
very confusing, very confusing. And it had been all kind of confusing all along the way, anyways. I was always trying to make heads or tail of what we were supposed to be thinking, feeling, and doing.
Right. Right.
And then it was just more confusion in a way. But I really held on to my creativity. My dancing and in my own little world. I was an only child, and so reading a lot and immersing in that. But I definitely I was pretty confused and angry for quite some time, and pretty lost. Yeah, like what is real, you know?
And
So
how did that show up as you went through puberty and got into your teenage years and your 20s? How did that translate? What emotions did that translate into before you really found your way when you were still struggling?
really, that the main emotion I would say that was my driver was anger and rage. And so I did a lot of escaping, into drinking and drugs and partying as much as I could. I mean, it was a way for me to not have to feel what I was feeling, to numb the pain, you know, and relationships. So it was like it's this
Sex.
interesting mechanism, with addiction and pain and the things that we use to escape then end up becoming our traps, the vices that we end up getting stuck in. And I know a lot of people that have gone through addiction can relate with that, and even if not the word addiction, maybe just abuse, self-abuse, self-abandonment.
Right.
And so for me, that abandoning of the self is pretty overarching for a while there. I didn't know how to really take care of myself in that deeper way and look out for myself. So yeah, it took some time to figure that out.
You tell a story that's pretty memorable of somebody very close to you who almost died
Yeah.
at this time. Do you want to tell us that piece?
Well, I actually have a few of those, and in the story, I actually talk about well, someone who did die. He actually overdosed, and so that was really hard. I was in love with him. I was 21. We were together for a few years, and I think my kind of personality type has always been as a child even, I wanted to help everyone around me. I wanted to save everyone. I wanted to be the helper, the healer, the savior. And I was trying to do that with him too. And I almost went down with him. And after I left him, I found out not too long after that he had died. So grief has been in my life a lot. And I it's such a powerful emotion that we all eventually feel, right? We all have loss. So, but yes, that was a big tragedy, and it led me down a very dark road for a while there because I felt responsible for his death. I thought I should have stayed and saved him.
So you had a
Yeah,
thought to yourself, if I would have not broken up with him, he would still be alive.
yeah, I did absolutely over and over and over. That thought was repeated in my mind a lot
Wow.
in that time. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I really did have a voice of self-criticism around that for a long time. And it took me some serious time to forgive myself and realize ultimately that was probably going to happen anyways, whether I was there or not.
Right.
And we all have our soul path, and we do the best we can. So it took some time to heal from that
What was the
grief
turning
and
point for
shame, right?
you? What was the turning point when you began to see things a different way, approach your life a different way?
So it's interesting because during that time when I was with him, I was getting introduced to some spiritual books by friends I knew kind of on the periphery, and there was one book that came to me, and it was Ram Dass's Be Here Now.
Oh, wow.
And
Isn't
I
it
I was
interesting how books can be such a gift? There's so many different things that can change our life. A friend, a session, a book.
totally, it's amazing. These little moments, these little pivotal
Yeah.
moments that you can just go, oh, yep, that was it. That was the thing. So yeah, that book, and because I'm an artist, and at the time I was exploring psychedelics, and he talks a lot about that. And
Yes.
in my mind, the psychedelic experience for me was actually healing and useful, whereas everyone around me was doing it for like escape, right? So I wasn't really in touch with anyone around me that was, nowadays we have a whole different take on the healing power of self
There is.
psychedelics.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this was quite some time ago, and it was still taboo, but it was very taboo then. And so I'm reading this book and I'm thinking, wow, he gets me, and I'm thinking, yes, everything you're saying, this is, and so I think that started that little click inside, and maybe even why I realized I had to leave too. you
To
know?
leave,
And so
to
even
leave what? Leave
though I
another
went down that,
boyfriend, or what did
what's
you,
that?
what did you leave? A different boyfriend, or?
Well, boy. So yeah, I did have some series of hard relationships after that, abusive relationships. It took some serious time to undo that pattern, you know. And during those years, I was continuing my curiosity of in meditation and yoga, and I had been a dancer and I had been injured, and then I started to go to yoga class a little more, and kind of get out. And that's when things started to shift in my late 20s, when I started to really come out a little more. Yeah.
We talked in the last session with Julie about how our 20s are such a hard time, and I'm really getting this sense of parallel tracks, like you were going through these really one after the other difficult abusive relationships, and then there's your spiritual journey, and I'm almost getting the sense of the spiritual
Mhm.
journey. I don't know if this is true. Tell me if I'm putting words into your
Yeah.
mouth. Dipping into your practical, emotional, relational life, or your psychedelic life, or whatever it was, and saying, you can do differently. There is a purpose to all of this.
Certainly. It's like this conversation that starts to come in to nudge you, And so for me, it was that nudging, nudging, nudging until finally, wait a minute. Yes, I can have a better life. I can create something different for myself. I
Oh, I
don't
love
have to
that.
stay in this cycle. Yeah.
I can have a better life. I love that affirmation. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's think again. It's almost like the think again. Beautiful. So if you were going to give any final words of wisdom of what the meaning you have made from your life, what would those be?
Mm. So the meaning I get to make my life be now is take a leap, go
Hmm.
for it,
Hmm.
induce joy.
Hmm.
Don't take everything so seriously, and just keep walking that path that, you know, creates more love in your life.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Don't take everything so seriously. Beautiful. Well, if you all would put some love for Rachel in the chat, we would love to see that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Laura.
my pleasure.
And thank you, everyone. Oh, thank you, Maureen.
All right, Maureen. Thank you, Rachel. A powerful story of claiming your true self. Gina says, hi, Maureen. Hi, Cynthia. Hello, everyone. Karen, thank you, Rachel. Thank you for your love and bravery. We love you and are so proud of you. That's Mom. All right, Charlene. Thank you for
Mwah.
showing up here. Julia, induce joy. Love that. Thank you for sharing your story. Emil says, such a powerful story of breaking free. Beautiful. Amy, thank you, Rachel. A gorgeous story full of brave grace. Jackie, so inspiring, Rachel Shea. It's such an honor to have this sacred time with you. I love it. All right. So we are going to say thank you to Rachel. And there's going to be even more love for you. I see more coming from for you in the chat. So you can go and